The issue that wasn't spoken to, which was probably the most central issue, is the health and safety issue around the failure to have water and what it will mean in this city where multiple thousands do not have water, and the sanitation issues as well as the issues of safety. We're moving into the flu season. Right now, the endovirus is here. It is causing children to be hospitalized. Certainly a child without water in the home, which we don't even know how many there are. The judge did not even speak to that, the fact that there's a big question how many thousands we're dealing with.
Are you predicting chaos?
I'm not going to predict chaos, but I'm certainly going to predict that we need to evaluate how many people are without water and the health and safety risks involved. I would call upon not only the city health department, but any other state agency at this point. I think we need to take our case to the governor, who is, he came up with the grand bargain to save the DIA. And my position here is if he came up with the grand bargain to save the DIA, come on up with the grand bargain to save the health and safety of the children particularly, and the seniors and the poor.
Is it a crisis situation we're in with water?
Of course it's a crisis situation. And if you were in a home without water and there were 8 children, like one of the plaintiffs here, or one of the putative plaintiffs, Mrs. Passant, who lived with her children, 8 children, 4 of whom were grandchildren, for a period of 4 months, certainly it's a crisis. And now that we've reached a very difficult flu season and medical season here in the city, we must look to our leaders to give us some help. And I think that we're going to take it at this point to the governor, to the legislature, to an appellate court, and we're going to, many here will also speak to the importance of making it clear to the citizens that water is needed.
Ms. Jennings, you had an expert. You felt very comfortable and you felt confident that the judge was going to rule in your favor. Where do you think this took a turn?
Well, you know, what I said last week was that after 37 years of practicing law, I would never say what a judge is going to do. It's for example. But what I said is we made a compelling case, and I still feel that way. And this is a very political case, as you see. We're dealing with the governor's request that there be a regional authority here, and that's, I think, it turned out to really revolve around that political aspect of the case.
This is not only just a social crisis, though. I just want to interrupt.
No, please.
This is not just a social crisis. This is a moral crisis. How morally inept and bankrupt could the bankruptcy court judge be that he could sit there in that courtroom, listen to the testimonies of those who have tried to have access to water and who have been denied continuously, and still not grant restraint and not grant the opportunity for those in this city to have access to an affordable water price. We're not, and no one has said that these folks should have free water. What we have said is that we should have an affordable price for folks who are in need the most.
And that's what your expert said coming in from Boston, that that's now the case with utilities in more than 50 states. So why not, since the power's been restored to the city council and the mayor, the local elected officials, lobby them to get them to pass that in the city of Detroit?
You know, if you have problems with your cell phone, they'll make arrangements with you. If you have problems with DTE, they'll make arrangements with you.
They make arrangements in the city, 10% down.
Everybody makes arrangements, but they don't make sure that everybody can afford healthy drinking water. Everyone should be able to afford healthy water.
So do you think you can get that passed by the city council?
On the water affordability?
Yeah, do you think you can get that passed by the mayor and city council?
We're going to try.
It's already been passed by them.
It was passed back in 2000, the early 2000. We presented it to them. It was passed. It was the water department doing just what they do now. Pay these people all these high salaries not to know nothing, and people in Detroit are suffering. We're not just going to stop here. It's just like Attorney Jenkins has said. We're going further up. In the next few weeks, the UN will be here. We're going to stay in the trenches because if one person, one family don't have water in Detroit, your family is next. So I'm saying right here, this is only the beginning again, but you know what, we are so proud to have the attorneys that are representing us now. This is not only a moral issue. My question is, who do these judges represent? It's obvious they do not represent the interests of the people that are starving, the people that are facing these crises in Detroit. People don't have jobs like they once had. And he should have based that on the needs of the least and not on the needs of the banks and the corporation. That's what this regionalization is about. And every time the attorney stepped up to deal with the question of regionalization and the question of what we are facing here, you could see that we had shook a nerve on that part. We're not going to discuss that here. We're not dummies, and we're not village idiots. We're the people that are calling folks out to fight for the next generation, that they have a right to water. It's a basic need, and it should be supported and fought for as a human right. Thank you.
May we get your name, please?
Marion Kramer from Michigan Welfare Rights.
Just go.